The question of whether former President Donald Trump's stance on NATO might have emboldened Vladimir Putin's actions in Europe has been a subject of intense debate. Some foreign policy experts argue that Trump's repeated threats to withdraw the United States from the alliance, coupled with his often favorable rhetoric towards Putin, could have been misinterpreted as a weakening of Western resolve. This perception, they argue, might have created an opportunity for Putin to assert Russian influence in the region. It is important to note that there is no direct evidence to suggest that Trump explicitly encouraged or endorsed Putin's actions. The claim that Trump's stance emboldened Putin is an interpretation of his words and actions, not a proven fact. However, the potential consequences of Trump's rhetoric on NATO, intended or not, cannot be ignored. The implications of a weakened NATO, particularly in the context of Putin's increasingly aggressive foreign policy, are significant and far-reaching. Donald Trump's relationship with NATO was, to put it mildly, turbulent. From the outset of his presidency, Trump expressed skepticism about the value of the alliance, questioning its relevance in the 21st century. He repeatedly criticized NATO members for not contributing enough to their own defense, arguing that the United States was shouldering an unfair financial burden. Trump's critiques of NATO were often delivered in his characteristically blunt and uncompromising style. He publicly questioned the commitment of member states, suggesting that the U.S. might not come to their defense if they were attacked. These statements, while likely intended to pressure allies into increasing their defense spending, had the unintended consequence of raising doubts about the strength of the U.S. commitment to NATO. From the Kremlin's perspective, Trump's rhetoric and actions toward NATO could have been interpreted as a sign of weakness or disunity within the Western alliance. Putin, a shrewd observer of international politics, would have undoubtedly recognized the potential for exploiting any cracks in NATO's solidarity. Trump's open admiration for Putin, combined with his criticism of NATO, could have been perceived as a weakening of the U.S.'s commitment to the alliance. This perception, in turn, might have emboldened Putin to pursue a more assertive foreign policy, believing that the West would be divided and hesitant to respond. It is also conceivable that Putin might have viewed Trump's transactional approach to foreign policy as an opportunity to strike deals that would benefit Russia. Trump's emphasis on America first and his willingness to break with long-standing U.S. foreign policy norms could have led Putin to believe that he could negotiate favorable terms with the Trump administration, potentially at the expense of NATO's interests. The current U.S. administration has taken a markedly different approach to NATO than its predecessor. Recognizing the importance of transatlantic unity, particularly in the face of Russian aggression, the Biden administration has reaffirmed the U.S.'s unwavering commitment to NATO's collective defense. This has involved not only words of reassurance but also concrete actions, such as increasing U.S. military presence in Europe and providing significant military aid to Ukraine. The Biden administration has also worked to repair the damage done to U.S.-European relations during the Trump years. This has included engaging in close consultations with NATO allies, reaffirming the importance of multilateralism, and working to address shared challenges such as climate change and the COVID-19 pandemic. The goal is to present a united front against Russian aggression and to deter further acts of aggression.